for game number 1.
That was the perfect Batman thing. Tell me that was bad.
Swear to me.
Ooh. Well, at that point, you just lost your voice and was being really horrible.
Glon will rise.
Yeah, I guess that sounds good.
That is what Andre will sound like in 40 years. Whoa, look at this, Andre.
No, dude, I've been actually taking.
Andre,
this is gonna be a depot and barracks inside the Zerg base.
I know. There was this one Savage Cheese where you put it in the corner of the base. And I remember, I want to say Happy did this, the Korean Terran. It was actually quite ridiculous. And then you bunker push your way into Zerg, and they actually don't do anything. This is, what? I haven't seen. Oh no, he actually put the depot back at home.
Oh, he's making depot over here and then barracks over there. Okay, this is actually the meanest thing to do.
Wow. ToP, I never thought I had it in him. I know he can always 2 racks, you know, and put it out, but this kinds of play always get me overly excited.
Oh.
You know, knowing me, I always like put it in the corner and get my SCV trapped. Kind of thing, but this is oh my goodness, Glon, is he gonna see this coming at all?
No, he won't. And I was about to say, yeah, maybe the drone will give him a little bit of indication. He gets in here, only sees a supply depot, and it's like, oh, where's the barracks? It's probably out on the map. That's what he would say to himself.
Is it a CC first kind of thing? But then you count the SCVs, and you're like, wait, but I don't know if it is. But ToP is still making SCVs, in fact, so it's not going to be like a 11-11. In fact, it can't because he doesn't send out a second SCV. But he is sending out that second SCV. Man, the mind games behind these guys play is going to be really tough for Glon to handle.
Oh, yeah. This is savage, man.
It's natural scouting timing, too, that ToP's sending out the SCV, so nothing looks suspicious. In fact, because ToP keeps making SCVs, Glon's going to be like, well, you know, isn't that normal? I count like 12, 13 SCVs. And he's going to have to check for proxies just in case, but is he going to even check his main? Oh, the spawning pool is right next to the bear. That's bad news because that means the Marines will be in range of the spawning pool. Yikes. Yikes.
Oh, no.
Yikes. That hurts, Andre.
That is horrible. What would be awesome is if ToP actually took all his SCV and put a bunker down here and forced all the drones.
And the drones are not even focusing, but now the Marine has been revealed, and Glon, the jig's up.
And from here, the game's basically over. It's unfortunate. I mean, I don't know of many situations where this actually works out. When it comes down to it, there are 2 bunkers over here. You can't confront that. Not when you're caught off guard. The only thing I can think of is you make a spine crawler over here and a spine crawler over here. Try to defend your natural and go from there. But he's going to try to defend his main. I mean, not that there is a good alternative. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, man. He's also bunkering the bottom of the ramp as well. And he can use those Marines to kind of protect it. This is very, very savage cheese from ToP, and of course, very well planned. And I definitely will try to experiment with this build as soon as I get on the left.
B, man, that's so mean.
Well,
why would you do that?
Hey, man, ToP is Andre, at the very end of the day, the winner of the qualifier goes to NASL Season 4. It doesn't matter how you won. And I mean, ToP is doing everything it takes. He's going to lose the first bunker, but the second one is nice and snug. A lot of Zerglings have hatched, but I mean, ToP can actually clear the rest of the Zerglings and still protect that bunker. You can see that ToP has pretty much abandoned everything, already starting to build some stuff back at home, but enough economic damage has been committed to this where, I mean, Glon is severely, severely behind.
Oh, yeah. Let's check the income tab, 19 to 17 at this point. Now the Queen probably will go down. If he targets it down, yes, he will. Very nicely done by ToP. And yes, he gets it. But nice. Another Queen actually just pops up and, of course, replaces the inject. So nicely done. He's just waiting for another Marine because you need, I think, 4 Marines. Nope, 3 Marines, I guess, to kill Queen.
Well, he's pulling some drones just to be extra safe. And, of course, when it comes to the Queen, anything is, I guess, you can't be too careful in terms of protecting. Another Marine pops out as well. Look at that ToP just being so annoying, preventing Glon from ever really being able to get back onto his feet, at least comfortably. And yeah, I mean, by the time Glon finishes with his barracks, ToP will have his expansion done. Actually, he has 2 command centers, which is very ToP-like at this point on.
But I do have to give credit to Glon. That was a really nice defense.
Yeah, that could have just ended the game, straight up.
Yeah, I actually thought it was going to end the game. You lose your spawning pool, it's like, well, I hate you. GG.
Well, I have nothing else to live for. My spawning pool is gone.
That's how I see it. Well, I hate you so much. Thank you. GG. Thank you for cheesing me on game number 1 like this.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of the beauty of things, because now even after this game, Glon has to be very cautious with how ToP approaches himself. And
yeah.
this is actually, again, very much what ToP likes to do. He likes to go like the 2 racks into triple command center kind of thing. Play very aggressive and then play very greedy, and it's really hard to kind of predict his moves. And he's capable of playing straight up as well, just straight up Hellion, Banshee, and then go straight into like 3 base macro with Marine Tank. And that's kind of what makes a little topsy-turvy in terms of dealing with it. But I actually really like the path in which ToP's going, and he looks like he's directing himself immediately to mech.
It's beautiful. And I would love double reactors to come out down on this, because actually that would be the most tilting thing in the world. Think about it. You have proxy barracks into double reactor Hellion. This Zerg will actually be like, I hate you so much. You are so cheesy.
Into cloak Banshees.
Into cloak yeah, that would be the most frustrating thing if I was Zerg, man.
Yeah, and then, oh my gosh.
I've seen that before, and I'm just like, I hate you. All you know is cheese, you stupid noob. And it actually gets you infuriated.
Yeah, it makes you actually make really poor decisions as well. But actually, this is really interesting. ToP adds another barracks, and of course, ToP, we thought he was going to lean more towards mech play, but he's actually going for even more, incorporating some Marines as well, going Marine Hellion. So this is an interesting take. And actually, what do you think about this build, Andre, now that we've seen more development into it? Double naked factories with Hellions and double E-bays.
What?
And this is
he could have actually made a reactor.
I think ToP does everything in pairs. He usually gets 2 racks, and then he adds on 2 command centers, 2 factories, and then 2 E-bays. Then gets 2 barracks, and then adds 2 more gases. He's making 2 SCVs at a time. Bro. Man, you should just call him OGS Noah. Gosh, does everything 2 by 2.
Gosh, obviously I think it's inefficient, but ToP, I think he feels so comfortable he could do whatever he wants. And I think that's why he's doing the actions that he's doing. But in the meantime, Glon has picked up quite a bit, 60 harvesters to 44. Now keep in mind, the whole time that he didn't have a spawning pool, he's relegated to drones. And that's why I felt like double reactor play would have been amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So you're saying because ToP should have made 2 reactors?
Yeah, double reactors.
Yeah. No. I'm just being chill. I'm just being a nuisance.
Yeah, double reactor, because you know your opponent really doesn't have the capabilities of getting metabolic boost out too fast. Not only that, any counts are going to be significantly like hampered. Like you can't get that many Zerglings out. You can't get a ton of spine crawlers out. You took a lot of economic damage. So why not just go like that? But I guess he's still in a good position. Yeah. We're going to see right now if the Zerglings can actually get a good surround. They're actually chasing all the Hellions.
No, they can't. They're off creep. And this is a very interesting take on the 10 to 11 minute poke at the 3rd. But of course, ToP delayed the economy so much that this is still pretty significant because a lot of larva has been committed to this. Although Glon did play really greedy and got a huge amount of drones out. The idea is that ToP was still able to establish a comfortable 3rd and still resumes map control. This is very interesting.
Okay, from here on out, I will never, ever say Glon is out of the game. This is such impressive play. Like, actually such impressive play. I'm really, really surprised on how good this guy is. Yes, I've seen all of his games when he was up against Bishu, but still, this has impressed me so much. The fact that you can come back from that big of a deficit and now hold off a pretty important push to be holding off. From here, he's actually ahead. He's gotten the 3rd a little bit faster. Yes, of course, ToP has been able to establish his 3rd, but the fact of the matter is, I wouldn't say ahead. Okay, I'm going to take that back. But at least he's like slightly behind.
I would say that right now, Glon's is not in the better position, but he's in a pretty decent one, depending on how engagements pan out. Because if ToP's going for a Marine tank, we've all seen Terrans throw away armies very easily. And Glon's actually been one of the guys capitalizing on that. Glon's been a guy that says, you know, if you leave your siege tanks unsieged, I am going to completely surround you and your army is done. It's nothing. That's how Glon was able to capitalize, not just in ZVT, but ZVP and even in his ZVZs. So I would have to commend that. Yeah, Glon's been playing very well. He just has to make sure to really deny ToP from being able to use these Hellions really well, because like it or not, these Hellions represent a lot of investment. Imagine if they were all Marines and gearing up for a 2-2 push. That would have been very scary.
Yes. In the meantime, 13 mutas out in the way. Not a huge fan of 13 mutas on the way. I would have loved 7 or 8 instead, just to pick off any form of medevac counts. This is going to force a very minimal reaction. The main reason why I say that, look at the upgrades 2-2 on the way right now, as you can see right here, or in the production tab. And of course, the mutas are 0-0. So this is the big problem with going delayed mutas at this point. 14 minutes into the game, you know your opponent at least has 1 upgrade you know, +1 or something. Yes, it clears out Hellions to be able to actually put down this hatchery, but what's inevitable is that 2-2 timing. The 2-2 timing, which will be so powerful. And if you get 13 mutas, that's 1,300 gas that you're allocating. That's not going to really defend against that 2-2 timing. Yeah. Yes, it helps out, but it won't be nearly as effective as, let's say, some sort of, you know, pivotal upgrade or infestors. Infestors would obviously be the better choice.
And infestors are the ones that are just really cost efficient against any kind of marine-based army in terms of just stalling for whatever push, or in terms of just being able to overwhelm and efficiently snipe them, especially with the amount of banelings that Glon is going for. Now, Glon's going for a massive attack, but their siege tanks are way out of position. In fact, there's no siege tanks at all at the third just yet. In fact, just sieging up, and Glon's getting a good sense of whether or not he can actually push into here. And he's sniping some of the Marines, maybe try to pick off a couple of tanks as well, but the Muse are not paying attention, and a couple of them do end up dropping at the cost of one siege tank. And now, will Glon push in from this point on? 2-2's about to wrap up, but so is the 2-2 of Terrans.
Yeah, he's kind of relegated to actually push into this place just because he has no fourth base emerging at this point. And when you have no fourth, you have no game plan directly after this. And it looks like ToP will probably... Oh, he runs into mutas, actually. And now he sees the mass army. And how does he react? Very slowly. He actually doesn't have any units over at the third base. It's going to be forced to lift. And here comes all the Zerglings and Banelings, Frodan.
The SVs are trying to get it away, but at the same time, there's a huge Zergling also flanking from the bottom of his natural ramp. And ToP has a huge concave. A lot of Banelings also detonated on some of the forward Marines. The siege tanks in the back did an excellent job. And Glon did manage to pick off a huge amount of ToP's economy, but that was a very costly attack, which cost him all of his mutas.
Yes, all of his mutas and all those Zerglings and Banelings. That's pretty substantial. On top of that, look at his creep spread. It's nothing. It has no coverage on the map.
You're right.
And that's a big problem for defending any potential fourth or fifth bases. At this point, ToP is so far ahead, it hurts. The third base is still up for ToP. He has that command center still roaring. It gives him the ability, obviously, just put down SCVs and immediately start mining efficiently. Income tab showing actually an advantage for Glon at this point, but what's inevitable is this push. ToP needs to be pushing out pretty soon here. And the main reason for that is you don't want your opponent going into that hive tech. So just mass up in a lot of units, and if they're actually teching, this push should actually do a lot of damage. If they're not teching, then you're just trading, keeping them on lair tech, and your 3-3 Marines are going to be a lot more efficient going into the later stages of the game.
ToP's got 9 tanks. That's more than enough. Or he's got 8 tanks and one's about to pop as well. So he's got enough to really choke Glon to death if he really wants to. Now the big challenge is Daybreak. There's 2 very polarizing routes you can take in towards the north and the southern paths in terms of counterattack. So you have to really take a strong position. But if ToP's able to really move out and capitalize on it, then it's lights out for Glon. But the thing is, ToP looks like he's playing more and more passive at this point. Just like he's giving time to Glon. Like things like Pathogen Glands is finishing up, and Hive Tech is about to finish. Yeah. Which means important upgrades will start. And I don't know if ToP's gonna push out because he says, well, do I want to wait for 3-3? I'm very interested to see what ToP's thinking is right now.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, obviously right now he sees that the Hive Tech is on the way. I think he's just trying to get insurance, just make sure he's going to be okay. Now 2 command centers will go down, and there it is, 173 supply. That's pretty good. Around the 160, I would say that's the bare minimum to 200. That's where like you can use this open area and also drop at the same time. If you're less than that, like let's say 100 supply, this open area is basically like you're out in the middle of the map. It doesn't even constitute anything. So I think that's what he's just doing, just trying to get more stuff on the map so that the AoE can actually work.
Andre, 161 Zerglings are on the map with 20 about to hatch. That's going to put him almost at 190, but he has to deal with the fact that there's a drop at the third and his fourth is under siege. But look at how much Zerg there is ready, and if he can get a perfect surround, but that's almost going to be impossible. OGS ToP has pretty much everything set up onto this ramp by the fourth base, and so Glon, as much units as he has, he can't just throw them. In fact, he's going the other way. And I guess that's really actually the best option he has at this point, because he can't confront this army.
Yes, he can't. And, oh, is his Infestors? Oh. His Infestors going to get torn apart! My God, nice target fire done by ToP. And that is going to put Glon in the worst position possible. Here he comes in, but with half of his army, Zerglings are still over at the left-hand side. It looks like he will clean up a couple of siege tanks, but that's about it. Marines over at the third base will finally get cleaned up. They will trade off in a little bit of economy, but it comes down to it. Glon has a much less inferior army.
Oh my gosh.
Or much more inferior army than his opponent.
All of the Zerglings got cleaned up by a huge reinforcement wave from ToP. Of course, he's really known for a strong late-game macro, but at this point, ToP just is pushing to the third base, and Glon needs to hold into this third base, but he's got everything saying that he can. He's losing infestors here and there. His fungals are not landing that strongly. GG gets called out, and ToP has taken game number 1 after a very interesting, I guess, early game build.
Glon definitely showed some skill there. Oh, not some skill. Glon definitely showed a lot of skill there, and I have to give it up to him. I didn't think that you would actually go into a 22-minute game directly after.
Like have a viable chance to win. It was really impressive.
I think small little adjustments to Glon's play would have obviously given him the chance at that endgame stage. Obviously, his attack didn't work nearly as successfully as he wanted it to if he actually started the creep spread, which is, of course, independent of everything else. It just requires a little bit more multitasking. I think he would be in a fine position, or at least a salvageable position. But when it comes down to a ToP, he's the one that really spoke in that game.
He had 190 Zerglings for that last fight, and was not able to really channel them in the right areas. But imagine if all of those are able to get the perfect 360 surround, as coined by Gretorp. Anything could have happened. We'll see what Glon can do in game number 2 when, oh, that was only game number 1. We'll see what happens in the next game when we come back from break. Don't go anywhere. More action after a 1-minute commercial.